Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos. It is an absolutely stunningly beautiful day here in Huntington. For some, they might find it a little chilly, might even say it was brisk. For me, if it never got warmer than right now, but the sun stayed out and it was a blue sky, I would be happy. This is the perfect temperature for me. Not too cold, not too warm, no humidity. Beautiful day for Shabbat. Beautiful day for the Shabbat after Yom Kippur leading into Sukkot. Something to be grateful for today. And if you're somewhere where the weather isn't this pleasant, isn't this beautiful, it's still Shabbat. And so it doesn't matter what the weather is, Shabbat makes it beautiful. It is the Shabbat after Yom Kippur. We have Sukkot starting tomorrow evening and just a week of Sukkot. And then, there's nothing until Pesach, at least in terms of major festivals. We do have Hanukkah, we do have Purim, we have Tu B'Shvat, all minor festivals because they're not ordained in the Torah. So a week of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, one last day, a day of assembly, Simchat Torah, we start the Torah over again, and then some quiet, some peace. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But it is a beautiful Shabbat, and let's start with a little bit of gratitude, thanking God for returning our souls to us. And I'll get there. There we are on page 68. We'll start Birkot HaShachar, the morning blessings, with the blessing for Thanksgiving, thanking God for returning our souls. Modeh ani. Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam. Modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam. Shehechezarta bi nishmati. V'chem la rabba emunatecha, modeh ani lefanecha, melech chai v'kayam. We'll continue warming up. I know my voice needs to warm up. Used it a lot these past 2 weeks, and it kind of strained a little bit. Page 74 at the top, Ma Tovu. Ma tovu, ma tovu, ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael, va'ani berov chastecha, ahavo ve'techa, ehesh tachaveh, el heichal kodshecha, ve'yiratecha, El heichal kodshecha v'yiratecha, Adonai hafti me'on beitecha, Mekom mishkan kevodecha, Va'ani eshtachaveh v'echra'ah, Evrecha lifnei Adonai osi, Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai, Ehit rahatzon, Elohim, berov chastecha, aneni v'emet ishecha. Well, part of the macadamias are here, and the other part of the macadamias is here as well. 2 macadamias, they are here. A day truly of blessing. There's Scott, he's in the back. A day truly of blessing. So we are all here. All right, page 76, we thank God for our body, because what's the use of having a soul if you don't have anywhere to keep it? Right, the body, top page 76, Asher Yatzar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Yatzar et Adam b'chokhmah, u'barabo nekavim, chalulim, galui v'yadu lifnei chisei chevodecha, she'im yipatech echad mehem, O yisatem echad mehem, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר, מפליא לעשות. All right, page 80 and following, Birkot HaShachar proper, the morning blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechli bina lahafkin bein yom v'layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ibrahim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaber. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laif kovach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'inai, u'pnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'vorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifarah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. All right. Elu Devarim. Elu Devarim. The joyful almond.
Shabbat shalom.
We've got the bands together. We've got the band together. Page 88, Elu Devarim. Elu Devarim she'ein lehem shi'ur. She'adam ochel perutehem ba'olam hazeh, v'hakerim kayemet lo li'olam haba. Ve'elu hein, kibud av ve'ein, u'gemilut chasadim, v'hashkamat beit hamidrash, shacharit v'arabit, v'achnasat urchim, u'bikor cholim, v'achnasat kala, l'viyat hamet, v'iyun tefillah, v'hava'at shalom bein adam l'chavero, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam. And Kaddish the Rabbanan, pages 90 and 92. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmeh Rabbah, v'almad yivrach yiruteh, v'yamlik malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayeh v'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman karim v'yimru ameh. Yehei shmeh Rabbah v'vorach v'olam romei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmeh t'kusha b'richu. Le'eva min kol mirchata v'shirata, tushvachata v'nechamata, v'amiram v'alma v'yimru amen. All Yisrael v'yal Rabbanan v'yal Tamidehom, v'yal kol Tamidei Tamidehom, v'yal kol man daskin v'oraita, di v'yatra hadain v'di v'chol atar v'atar. Yehei lahon lahon shlama rabba, china v'chista v'rachamin, v'chayin orichin, mezinei rebichei, v'fakanam mikodam v'hon v'ishmaya v'yara v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'yimomav, hu b'rachamav yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, v'yimru amen. All right, we're sliding out of Birkot HaShachar into Psukei Dezimra. Longer blessings, more intricate prayers in a way, and ideas about the individual's relationship to God, but also the Bnei Yisrael, all the Jews and their relationship to God as a collective. Psukei de Zimmer, verses of psalm and praise, page 94. Baruch Shemar v'haya haolam, Baruch hu, Baruch Oseh Reshit, Baruch Omer v'Yoseh, Baruch Gozer Mekayim, Baruch Merchem al haaretz, Baruch Merchem al habriot, Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov B'Re'av, Baruch Chai La'ad Mekayam L'Netzach, Baruch Podeh U'Matzil, Baruch Shemaho. And let's read together in English. With songs of praise, we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe. One God, life of the universe, praised and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Blessed are you, Adonai, sovereign, who is glorified through praise. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal b'tishbachot. Turn the page to 96. Psalm 92, verses from, I wish they would have given us all the verses. It's such a beautiful psalm. But Psalm 92 at the top. Mizmor shir liyom hashabbat, tov lehodot ladonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid ba'bocher chastecha, ve'emunatecha ba'leilot, alei asor v'alei navel, alei higayon v'chinor, alei asor v'alei navel, alei higayon v'chinor. Tzadik tamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanot yiskeh, shetuli bebeit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O jinun b'seva, Nishenim vera'ananim, yiyu lehagi, ki ashar Adonai, tzuri velo avlatabo. You know, I talk a lot in classes that I teach about translation, and it's interesting, you know, every once in a while I'll be looking and I'll see how they translate something. The second line from the bottom begins with the word lehagid. And then if you go down to the translation, the first word of the last line is attesting that Adonai is upright. Now, that's a $20 word, attesting, for a 45-cent Hebrew word. And I'm not saying that the Hebrew, because it's 45 cents, is worthless. Lahagid is like the Haggadah. That's where we get the word Haggadah. And it means to tell, as in stories, right? Attesting is not telling stories. Attesting is close to testifying, right? We're telling stories about God. We're telling how close God is to us. Attesting that God is upright. Seriously? No. Is it
more like relating?
Lahagid? Yeah, but it's the Haggadah. We get words. We get, you know, we know what the Haggadah is, right? It's a bunch of stories.
Right. Telling tales.
Yes, but not like gossip.
Right.
Right. It's just telling stories. It's
Spinning
like
yarns.
Spinning yarns. But it's just in a warm-hearted kind of way.
Yeah.
Right. So the psalmist is saying, yeah, we're going to talk about God in this way. Like, you know, this is what God did for me, and this is how I experience God. It has nothing to do with attesting. Oh, please. All right, we're doing our own prayer book. That's it. A couple of weeks, we'll have our own going.
That's it, yeah.
All right, page, I'm gonna be quiet. We're gonna dive in. No more commentary from up here. Page 97, Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Od Hallelu Chasela. Tehillah David, Oromimcha Lahai Hamelech, Va'abracha Shimcha Leolam Va'ed. Gadol Olam Lo Meod, V'ligdulato Ein Cheker. Hadar Kivod Hodecha, Divrei Miklotecha Asicha. Zecher Rav Tucha Yaviu, B'tzikatecha Yiranenu. Tov Adonai Lakol, V'rachamav Al Kol Ma'asahav. Kivod Malchutecha Yomeru, Ugvaretecha Yedaberu. Malchutecha Malchut Kol Olamim, U'memsheltecha B'chol Dor V'ador. Einei Chol Elecha Yisaberu, V'yata Noten Lehem Et Ochlam Be'ito. Tzadik Adonai B'chol Drachav, V'chasid B'chol Ma'asahav. Chitzon Yirei Av Yaseh, V'yet Shabbatam Yishma V'yoshem. Tehillat Adonai Yedaber Pi, V'yivarech Kol Basar, Shem Kodsho Leolam Va'ed. V'anachnu Nevarech Yah, Me'atah V'yad Olam. Hallelujah. You know, when we use words like attest, it just makes it all seem so formal.
When
Seems so
they're
formal.
here, it makes it easier for me too.
Right. No, but like the word attest for the Hagid, you can tell who translated this did not have a Hasidic neshama. They did not have a Hasidic soul. Because the Hasids, that was part of the thing about the Hasids. The original Hasidim with the Baal Shem Tov, the Magid of Mezrich, and Dov Ber, and all of them, they wanted to bring not only us closer to God, they wanted to bring God closer to us.
Yeah.
And so using words like attesting does not bring God close. Telling stories, schmoozing, there's a good one. Schmoozing about God. There we go. Got the Yiddish, got the Hebrew.
Schmoozing that Adonai is right.
That's yeah. I mean, they would have, and that's what the Hasidim would have used Yiddish, right, when they were talking about God. So
That's it, Rabbi. You need to do a siddur all on your own with your Hebrew words and matching with the words that you want that match the Hebrew.
Alavai.
Exactly. Like
And it'll be Hamish.
You want to Hamish. You want to.
Yeah.
Attesting is not Hamish.
And in English, that's what I meant. Translating it
No,
the
I got
way
it.
it's supposed to be.
One of the names for God in the Yiddish lexicon for God is der Eibishter, and it's a beautiful word. It comes from the word Eber or Ober in German, meaning over. So the one who is above us, the Eibishter, always always above us, always watching, always
That's it.
caring.
Always
The
above us.
Eibishter.
Yes. Like you say when in the other one where you go Hashemayim.
Yeah.
Hashemayim.
The Eibishter's up there. Gotta give the Eibishter some props.
Mm-hmm.
Page 100. We'll continue with Hallelujah, and I'll be quiet. Page 100, Psalm.
No, you're our leader. You're
Psalm
supposed to
150.
speak. You're our leader.
Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Bekodsho, Hallelujah, Kia Uzo, Hallelujah, Gvorotav, Hallelujah, Kirov Gudlo, Hallelujah, Beteka Shofar, Hallelujah, Nevel Vechino, Hallelujah, Betofu Macho, Hallelujah, Minim Diugav, Hallelujah, B'tziltzalei Shama, Hallelujah, B'tziltzalei Trua, Kol HaNeshama Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehalel, hallelujah. All right, we're gonna move to page 100. And as we're going to start moving out of Pesukei de Zimra into Shacharit proper, the getting us to the Baruch Hu. So we're going to keep on with the idea of a soul, nishmat, and breath, how we praise God. Top of 101, nishmat. Nishmat kohochai, tivarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. Baruch Hu. Barchi nafshi et Adonai v'chol provayet shehem kodsho. Ha'el b'tatzmut zecha hagadol b'kvod shemecha hagibur l'netzach v'hanava b'norotecha hamelech hayoshev al kisei ram v'nisa shochen ad maharom v'kadosh shemo. V'katuv Hananut Tzadikim Badonai L'Shavim Havatihila V'fi Yesharim Tithalal U'divrei Tzadikim Titbarach U'bilshon Chasidim Titromaham U'bekerev Kedoshim Titkadash U'makalot Revivot Amcha Beit Yisrael V'china Yiparshim Chomakenu B'chodor Vador Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol V'HaKadosh V'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz Ki L'chana Adonai Eloheinu V'Elohei Avoteinu V'Imotenu Shir U'Shvacha Halel V'Zimra Ozu Memshala Netzach Gedula U'Gevura Tehillah v'tiferet, kedusha u'malchut, brachot v'hodaot, ve'ata v'yad olam. Baruch atah Adonai, el melech gadol v'tishbachot, el hahodaot, Adon haniflaot, abocher b'shirei zimra, melech elchei ha'olamim. Kadal v'yitkadash shemei rabah v'yomad yivrach hirutech v'yamlit malchutech v'chayechon hu yomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'hagala u'vizman kahariv v'yimeru amen Yehi shmei rabah mevarach L'olam olamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalah Shmei t'kedusha b'richu Leila bin kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nehemata Dam v'hiram v'yalma V'meru amen. Baruch Hu, page 108. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ha'mitzvot kriyat shema lehamlicho b'levo shalem u'yakdo b'leibto u'lokdo b'nefesh chafetza u'lokdo b'nefesh chafetza. Praise are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who helps us with mitzvot, commanding us how to recite the Shema, to declare wholeheartedly God's rule, to declare earnestly God is one, and to zealously worship God. A little bit of zeal is not a bad thing.
No.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer ur v'choshech oseh shalom u'varei et hakol. Ameir la'aretz l'darim aleha barachamim u'tuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma'avu ma'aseh Adonai kulam b'chokma asita ha'aretz kinyanecha yitbarach Adonai Eloheinu shelach ma'aseh yadecha v'yam yoreh ur sh'asita l'baruch ha'sela ur chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizhech u'lanu mehera li'oro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot. Top of 112, the second blessing before Shema. Ahava rabbah tanu Adonai Eloheinu chemla gedolah v'tera chamalta aleinu. Let's continue in the English. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. V'ha'erenu b'toratecha, v'dahavek l'beinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yacheh lehavenu li'ahava u'yirah et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, Le'olam va'ed, Yiveshet kodshecha, Hagadol v'hanora v'hatachlu, Nagila, 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 v'nismecha b'shuatecha, V'havienu l'shalom me'arba katkot ha'aretz, V'tolichenu k'miyu li'artzeinu, ki el poel Yeshuot ata, uvanu v'charta v'kerabtanu l'shincha hagadol sela b'emet, l'hodot l'chal yehecha b'ahava, baruch atah Adonai, aboher b'amo Yisrael, Yahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levacha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'ayu advarim ha'eleh, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'lechtecha b'derech, ובשופך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לתותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בצל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי דרכם מאחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. ויציבהו בחביב ונורא ואדיר וטוב ויפה, הדבר הזה עלינו לעולם ועד. אמת אלוהי העולם מלכנו, זו יעקב מגן אישנו, דור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים, וכניסו נכון, מלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת, ודבריו חיים וקיימים, נאמנים ונחמדים לעד עולמי עולמים, ממצרים נתנו אדוני אלוהינו, מבית עבדים פדיתנו, על זאת שפכו אהובים, תרמו אל ונתנו ידידים, זמירות שירות ותשבחות, ברכות והודות למלך אחד הקיים, רם ונישא גדול ונורא משפיל, דהים ומגביה, שפלים מוציא אסירים, ופודה ענבים, ועוזר דלים ועונה לנו בעת שלום. תהילות לאל עליון, ברוך הוא מבורך, משה בני ישראל שירה, בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות וספלה. שיר החדשה, שירו גאולי, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדכנו מחה יהודה וישראל. גול עלינו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני God Israel. We are at the Amida, the central prayer of the any of our services. It's the one that we say 3 times a day. We do that with Aleinu, but Aleinu was a late addition after the Middle Ages. But the Amida is the central prayer of all of our services. We're going to begin on 124, chant 124, 126, 128, and yes, even 130 together. And then we're going to go silently as you can finish the Amida. You can finish it in Hebrew, you can finish it in English, or you could offer up your own personal or meditative prayer during that time. But let's begin together on 124.
Adonai sifatai tiftach uvi'agi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach uvi'agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atarav Lahoshia, Mashif HaRuach Umorid HaTal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'ofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Menit Umechayem, Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hameitim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Kishem shemachti shimo tov b'shmei marom, Kakatuv al yad nevi'echa, V'kara zeh el zeh v'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, Kevodo. Adir Adirenu, Adonai Adonenu, Ma'adir Shimcha b'chol haaretz, Baruch Kivod Adonai Mimko. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Verachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Imloch Adonai be'olam, Elohai Tzion. Ledor vador, Alleluia. Ledor vador nagid lohodecha, Ulenetzach netzachim kedushacha nahakish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu, Mipinu lo yavush le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Still completing our Amida. Please continue at your own pace. We are on page 134. Let's read together the English, middle of 134. Our God, God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai our God, grant us your holy Shabbat as a heritage. May Israel, who sanctifies your name, rest on Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Well, since we have the joyful almond and the macadamias here, I think this is time for a ritzeh. Top of page 136, I believe.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu, ve'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam ve'ahava tekabel, u'tehir v'ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Hamecha El Karov Lecho Korah Panei Avadecha Lefonenu Shekol Ruchacha Aleinu V'techezeza Einenu V'shuvecha Letzion Berachamim Baruch atah Adonai Hamelech Hazir Shechinato Letzion.
All right, the middle of 138, that leads us right into the Modim. Let's read this together. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha u'lechana'el lehodot. And we'll close out with Sim Shalom, the prayer for peace, top of page 140. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha, Barcheinu Yosreinu Kulanu ke'echad V'yor Panecha, Panecha, V'yor Panecha, Nachata Lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Torah Chaim, Yehavat Chesed, Utzedaka Uvracha V'rachamim, Rachamim V'chaim V'shalom, V'rachamim V'chaim V'shalom, V'tov be'enecha L'varech et amecha, Amecha Yisrael, B'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני, המברך את עמו ישראל, בשלום. right, friends, you are missing something if you are not here live. There is an energy in the room. Even though there's 4 of us, there is an energy in the room. And last night I read a piece that was buried in the Yom Kippur Machzor about from a woman who said that people enjoy the high holidays because they see people and there's this and there's that. And she says at the end, but we could do this every Shabbos. We could have that feeling of togetherness. We could have that feeling of community. So come here. We want you here. We're live, and the more people, the more ruach, the more spirit. I'm telling you, we will. Even the churches will be jealous of us with the spirit and the energy that we have. I'm telling you. So just come and spend Shabbat morning with us. I'll even feed you. So, and we'll learn. We'll make a morning of it. We'll make a morning of it. So please. All right, we're going to jump ahead to page 253, the Misha Berach for healing. Misha Berach, Avotenu v'Imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem, Lachalivam, L'Rapotam, Lachazikam, V'Yishlach Lehem Mehevra Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashtal Bagal Ezman Karib, and Omar, Amen. You're the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. Bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. All right, prayers of our community. Prayer for our congregation, top of page 258 of the Macadamias. Tam.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Thank you, Rabbi, and for all of the prayers on the High Holy Days. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai
Shotecha levacha v'yira na'avod. Scott, prayer for our country.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech. If you offer compassion to the hungry, and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
That is from the Haftarah for Yom Kippur. That's the morning Haftarah. Right? In from Yeshayahu, from Isaiah, right? That the people are upset that God isn't paying attention to their fasts. God isn't paying attention to the religious piety because they only pull it out during the holidays or when there are people watching.
Speaking of Torah, you said it so beautifully during the High Holy Days. Oh my goodness, that was gorgeous.
We had Scott's voice. It's an important Haftarah. God doesn't really care if you're not eating on Yom Kippur. God is worried that other people aren't eating, and it's not because they have a choice. So, all right, top of page 259. Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim Yishlayu Havayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabbat Sur Yisrael V'Goalo Barei Et Medinat Yisrael Reishit Smichat Ulatenu Hagen Aleha B'Yavrat Chastecha Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha Ushlach Uracha V'Amitecha L'Rasheha Sareha V'Yotzeha V'Taknein V'Eitzah Tova Milfanecha V'Natata Shalom Ba'aretz V'Simchat Olam V'Yoshveha V'Nomar Amen. Miranda, the prayer for Israel in English, please.
O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, Bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shielded beneath the wings of your love, spread over the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there.
Amen. All right. I promised last night I'm going to be quiet because Tam is our darshan this morning. Tam is going to give the drosh.
Wow.
I volunteered her, and actually I sent out a text to two people, and she was the first one to respond. And so I guess she wins. We win, but I don't know if she won because she had extra work to do. So without further ado, here is Dr. Tam Murphy this morning's darshan for Parashat. What is it? Hazinu.
Hazinu.
There you go.
I said it wrong last year, but I'll get it right.
Did you do it last year too?
I did, but I wrote a whole new one.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna make a collection of
Okay.
I'm gonna go back and look.
She's our resident Hazinu scholar.
All right. So, speaking of which, then I should tell you at the beginning here that Hazinu means listen, not to listen, as I said last year. It is a commandment to its audience to listen. Thank you for the learning there, Rabbi. In another life, I was a school teacher. It was about 2004, and I was a New York City teaching fellow. I was tasked to teach algebra in a New Vision school for the performing arts, and all of this sounded very exciting as marketed and sold. But when I arrived at my New Vision school, it turned out to be one floor carved out of the many-storied old Thomas Jefferson High School in East New York. It was a neighborhood so far east in Brooklyn that it snuggled up against Queens. I had thought when I signed my contract that the hardest part of my job would be getting the students to listen. I'm not proud to say that I called to my movies like Dangerous Minds or Stand and Deliver. I imagined myself the hero of a classroom that would thrive if I could just get the students to listen. To prepare us for the school year, we were taught over the summer topics such as classroom management. One trainer was a teacher with over 40 years of experience in education, and she had an icy glare that could stop even an adult at 20 paces. I tried very hard to develop my own glare, but as my kids and my husband can tell you, the more I try to look serious, the more ridiculous it gets. I was also jealous of my male colleagues whose lower voices commanded more attention. Most of all, there were all kinds of things like, have a noisemaker to grab attention, but most of all, it was important, we were told, to advise that there were clear rules and consequences to let the class know what to expect. After entering the classroom, I soon found that it wasn't enough to be strict, to have posted rules and consequences, to have a booming voice, and to have noisemakers. I found as the term progressed that each dear child had their own hurt when it came to education, and what they needed most deeply was to be heard and comforted. As the saying goes, they don't care what you know until they know that you care. One student said to me that after being in a severe car accident in middle school, she had developed a speech impediment and was treated as if she was not very intelligent. This shocked me because she was my best student by far, staying after school each day to make sure she had her homework done, had all of the correct answers, and understood why each was correct. She had a sense of pride in her accomplishments in my class and thanked me for not assuming she was any less smart than the other students because of the way she spoke. Most students felt bullied by past math teachers who didn't think they were capable of learning the material in question. For these students, not listening was self-protective. I had students who couldn't do projects at home because they lived in shelters. They needed to be able to complete those projects at school with supplies available for free to them. This was not a classroom of dangerous minds. It was a classroom of wounded hearts. They were dear children growing into adults who needed someone to think they mattered and that they were capable. The problem when I write this is I don't realize I'm going to get messy when I read the words, but I'll get through it. I had been so concerned about getting them to listen, Hazinu, that I almost missed. I had been so concerned about getting them to listen, but I learned that the problem was that the adults had not listened to them. It occurs to me in reading this week's Parsha Hazinu that Moses was faced with a similar problem. The Torah is filled with examples of the children of Israel going astray. Moses gets so frustrated with his classroom at one point that he manages to make an error so grave it will keep him from entering the Holy Land with his children. As he is faced with the prospect of his pupils walking into the land without him, what advice does he send them with? Clear rules and consequences. As Rashi notes in his commentary, from the beginning of the Parsha until verse 32:5, in the fifth Aliyah section, Moses offers his rebukes. After this, however, he offers words of comfort through the end of the Parsha. Yes, his classroom needs rules and consequences, but they also need comfort. They have wandered 40 years in the desert, and they're entering a strange new world. They don't know what life will be like. As Moses learned the hard way, what they needed most of all was for their teacher to not become impatient with them and offer them comfort. I said earlier that I assumed the hardest part of teaching would be getting the students to listen. It wasn't. It was extremely hard, mind you, but it was not the wound that sticks with me. That gash was caused by how deeply my students have been failed by the adults around them. The school I was working for was crafted by caring minds who felt that bringing children topics like math and science in the midst of performing arts would make them feel engaged and cared for. In truth, the New Vision School idea was really just a repackaging of the idea of a charter school. The larger school building was being divided up into smaller pieces that had less funding. I had children in my class with deep social and emotional needs, but we had no school counselor. Administrators from the Department of Education stated that there was no funding this year for performing arts, maybe next year. One memory haunts me most. One day in the beginning of the term, math teachers from the building were asked to stay after school. We watched from a window above as a math liaison from the city drove into the parking lot in a Mercedes. Her diamond earrings, her perfect suit, her coiffed hair, all sent an unmistakable message. She informed us that, according to regulation, we all had to use the same math book as all of the other schools. We had a script that told us which pages of the book to be on for each day of the year, and even for each minute of the lesson. One teacher asked, a little shocked, how are we supposed to allow time for questions or for adjusting for different learning styles? She stated flatly that this was the task, and we were to commit to it. She also cautioned us to not go back and teach earlier material if the students were lost on a topic like fractions. She said if the students don't understand fractions at this point, they probably aren't capable. Just keep moving forward. I'll never forget the bravery of one teacher who raised his hand and said, first of all, you're clearly the one who isn't capable. Our students are, if we give them the chance. Second, how are we supposed to keep charging forward if they don't have the foundations? This new year, I have invited you all to listen, and I appreciate you doing so. We have all been separated by COVID, and now is our time to come together and listen to each other. If you're like me, you have been shaped by this time apart from others to be a little more awkward in social situations than you used to be. It's okay. We'll learn to be together again. What I caution all of us to consider, myself most of all, is that listening is more important than talking. We can all learn and teach each other. Each person has a beautiful story. I'd like to hear all of your stories about your backgrounds when we come together again. It's not enough to reprimand. We must also comfort. We are all in need of comfort after getting through the trials of the past years of COVID. I invite you all to come back. Let's listen to each other.
Wow.
Yay.
Yashar Kochei. Wonderful.
Doug.
Wonderful.
Toga.
Same next year.
Wow.
We have a Hazinu expert. We have a Hazinu expert, and so wow.
That was lovely.
That really was. That really
Part
was.
is not getting the students to listen, it's learning how to listen to them.
Yes,
That is-
yes.
Yeah, I mean, what you brought up about Moshe, I mean, Moshe
Yeah.
Rabbeinu, right, is how a lot of, we refer to him, Moshe, our teacher,
Yes.
right? And so he had a learning curve, right? And then ultimately what happens with the spies is that generation that he let out, the generation that had been literally dying in Egypt to get out and go, they can't get into the land.
Yeah.
So what does Moshe do? He doesn't just let the generation that's going to go into the land on their own, right? Traditionally, we look at the book of Deuteronomy, the book of Devarim, as Moshe's guidebook for the people who are going in, who didn't witness the miracles, who didn't maybe commit the same sins that their parents and grandparents did, but he wasn't just going to let them go. He wasn't going to say, well, you know enough. And he gave them a book of instruction where he went over, again, as we see, we see the Tochacha in Devarim, we see the blessings and the curses, right? So he says, look, your actions are going to have consequences. Your parents and grandparents, their actions had consequences, and that's why they're not going in, right? But I'm leaving you with this. I'm giving you this. I hear your concerns. I know you're frightened. I'm not going with you. Joshua's going to take you in. He's capable. Trust him. I'm going to give you a little tough love. But in the end, I love you all, and you're going to make it because I've done my best to prepare you. And,
It's like to be a parent and a teacher. I think that's what led me back to the memory of being a teacher.
Well, see, that's the thing is that, we are quick to blame a lot of things on the teachers because they're easy. Now, my father taught for 40 years, was the president of his union, went on strike twice. Once and it wasn't, when they went on strike, it wasn't because they wanted, I don't know, something ridiculous. They went on strike. All the teachers went on strike because the younger teachers were going to be forced to pay more for their insurance. And the older teachers said, absolutely not. So they went on strike. And then, boy, did the hate mail come in.
What did he teach?
If you ask him, idiots. He taught English. He taught English at high school and at university.
English.
But I'll tell you what, I wish Pops were alive to see how things changed during COVID when people found out that it's not easy to be a teacher, right? And that there is no quick fix because we could have phenomenal curricula. But if the kids who are coming in are food insecure, it's not going to help. If they're coming in and they don't know where they're going to be sleeping that night, right? If they're coming in knowing that they don't get to eat breakfast until Thursday and it's Tuesday, right? The best curriculum in the world, that's not going to help.
And if you've got politicians taking away their access to free lunch.
Well, because the politicians, they need a raise. They work so hard, right? They work so hard
What
to.
they serve them breakfast? They don't serve them breakfast anymore?
It depends on where you are. It depends on where you are.
County has all the meals free for everybody.
Yeah, Campbell County, that's good.
But in Masechet Shabbat in the Gemara, it says the world exists only because of the breath of school children. Right? Stop worrying about whether or not the kids can do these, what are they called, standardized tests,
Oh, yeah.
and educate them and help them get up. It's like Moshe. Moshe could have said, you know what? I'm not going into the land. I'm done. I'm tired. Geh gesund hate. Right? Go and be well. I'm tired. Huh?
You can have it.
You can have it. But he doesn't. He spends the last
I
book.
did my part.
Yes, he could have said, I've done my part, right? You're somebody else's problem. Joshua, right? He could have passed it off to Joshua and said, Joshua, you got to get them ready. But he takes the entire 5th book of the Torah is a restatement of the previous 3. So that Moshe is giving them the high points that they need, plus a whole bunch of new mitzvot as well for settling the land. But as Tam points out, he needs to listen. It's not so much them, the children of Israel, listening to him right now. He has to hear them. And I think part of the book of Deuteronomy is him hearing their concerns and him giving them, okay, here's your handbook, kids. This is my best guess at what you're going to need for when you go in there. Because it's all brand new, right? I don't know what to expect. I'm not going, but even if I were, I wouldn't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. But listen, we're part of a group.
Yeah, Rabbi, I love the part because she made it sound like he was a teacher and the students were being disobedient. I love the part where he just leaves the room for a while and then all chaos breaks out.
Like he's shut. You want water? Smack.
In the classroom.
He gets some paycheck.
Yeah, all chaos breaks out.
Yeah, Moshe does, but I mean, the event that when I was thinking of is that when he goes up to receive the Aseret HaDibrot, and he's gone, and all hell breaks loose, and they make the Egel HaZahav, they make the golden calf, which is the sin we atone for on Yom Kippur as a people, right? Tisha B'Av, there are two main fast days in Judaism, two major fast days. Tisha B'Av, which is the 9th of Av, which atones for the sin of the spies. For when we listened to the spies when they came back from the land and said, "Oh, there are giants and we look like grasshoppers," and we all cried out. God said, I'll give you something to cry about. You're going to wander for 40 years. The sin that we atone for as a people, also on Yom Kippur, is the Egel HaZahav, that we were on the cusp of getting the law and we reverted back to idolatry. And so that's the sin that we atone for as a people on Yom Kippur. But again, Yashar Kochev.
Thank you.
What a drosh.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I can't give any more drashot. I've been schooled.
Well, I was.
She dropped.
I was
walked over
inspired
here.
by you. I've learned a lot about poetry from you. Tell a story.
I got nothing.
My
I'm just
cousin,
imitating.
my cousin Marie loves all your stories. She
Thank
does.
you.
She fast forwards to you doing stories.
Aw.
She just loves your stories.
So this Parsha Hazinu is the last Parsha that's read on a Shabbat morning in Shul during the cycle. Next week's Shabbos is, of course, Chol HaMoed Shabbat for Sukkot. And so Sukkot has its own Torah reading. It doesn't follow. And then the last Torah portion, V'zot HaBracha, is read only on Simchat Torah as part of as part of Simchat Torah, and it's not read as its own on Shabbat. So this is the penultimate of the Torah portions. It is the ultimate one that we would read on a regular Shabbat. So and Tam owns it. Tam owns it.
That's right, Rabbi.
Tam owns it. I'm
Just
telling you.
mimicking the best.
What she owns this one. I'm gonna go home and cry. 'Cause it was such a good drosh. It was such a good. It was seriously such a
I
really.
love the analogy between teaching, you teaching,
Yeah.
and how Moses was teaching.
I just see a lot of the teacher in him, like when he just can't even. Like I
You
had
just can't even.
I
Yeah.
had a student who went into the office and looked at all our first names so he could stealthily know them, and I'll already say, "Hey Tamara, how are you?" And I'm like,
Well, you had your own quorum. You had your own quorum.
yes, the kids will test you, but
Yeah.
honestly, the worst part is with the kids. Like he said, it's the administrators and the politicians. We could have a politician come in our room at any time.
Yeah.
The mayor of the city came to our school once, and I told the students, "Listen, I'm going to teach for you, but I'm going to know where I should be. So if an adult hits that door and I switch the script and I'm on page suddenly 50 on the page where I should be, just go along with it." I was like, I'm not going to teach at a rapid pace that nobody's understanding. I'm going to teach to them. How can you get them to listen if it's like, sorry, I know I've left you behind, but I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
going.
What did you teach?
Algebra.
Oh gosh, because you did mention mathematics. I'm like, wow, she must be. Oh,
Well,
wow.
in the end, it was such a terrible political system, and honestly, the kids' needs were mostly emotional. So it's kind of where I started thinking about going back to med school.
Emotional.
You said the first step there was they humbled you in a way by saying, you know how to solve this problem. Now use this weird method you've never seen before to
Oh,
solve
yeah.
it, so you'll know the experience of the kids.
Yeah,
right?
so you are not an expert in math, and as an adult, you're an expert in math the way you've been taught it, and the algorithm you know. So they're like, okay, you can't use the way you know to do this problem, use this new way, and suddenly you know nothing. So we had to learn 4 or 5 different ways to teach the same thing, and if the kid wasn't getting it, it wasn't the problem with them, it was we needed a different, route. So.
Yeah. Yes. And we use mathematics in life. I'm not sure about algebra, but we definitely use the addition, subtraction. multiplication,
We do. The
division.
problem is we don't know we use it in life because we didn't get to teach it in a way that was applicable. to
Yes,
life,
exactly. It was
Yeah.
all numbers and calculations.
So sorry, Rabbi, you want to wrap up, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you want to wrap up. This
Everybody home is, what's
kind of
happening?
went off
We're-
the subject
We're
here.
schmoozing.
I'm
It's
fascinated by this.
Because-
This is what shul should be. This is
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
what the teaching of a synagogue is.
More people come in and join us.
You
That's
know,
right.
I
Conversation.
believe that God is teaching us right now. And we're the disobedient students. And so it's like God is teaching us, okay, now you have to, and if you don't, you get punished, or something.
Actions have consequences.
Yes, yes.
All right. Page 65.
Yes,
No, I'm sorry, not 65. It's 65 in my Siddur. 282 in yours at home as well. 282, Aleinu.
Yes.
Aleinu l'shapeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula li'otzeh reshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu purim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yosed Haaretz U'Moshav Yikaro B'Shamayim Imaha U'Shlinatu Zo Begovei Meromim U'Eloheinu Elohim Emet Malkeinu Efesu Lato Kakatu V'Torato V'Yadat HaHayom V'Hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim B'Shamayim Imal V'Al Haaretz Mitzrach Eino. Kakatu b'toratecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad. We are still in the high holiday period, so we do have Psalm 27. Still have Psalm 27 on our radar, all the way through Hoshana Rabbah. Some places stop reading it on Yom Kippur, but it's such a beautiful psalm that I follow the other tradition of reading it all the way through Hoshana Rabbah. So we'll read it responsibly. Of David, Adonai is my light and my help, whom shall I fear? Adonai is the stronghold of my life, whom should I dread?
When evildoers draw near to me to devour my flesh, when my foes and enemies threaten, they trip and they fall.
Though armies besiege me, my heart shall not fear. Should war beset me, still do I trust.
One thing do I ask of Adonai, it is this that I seek, to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to behold Adonai's sweetness and to gaze on God's palace.
God hides me in God's shelter on the day of evil, conceals me in the recesses of God's tent. On a rock, God raises me up.
And now my head rises over my enemies around me. Let me offer in God's tent sacrifices with joyous shouts. Let me sing and hymn to Adonai.
Hear, O Lord, my voice when I call, and grant me peace and answer me.
Of you my heart said, seek my face. Your face, Lord, I will seek.
Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in wrath. You are my help. Abandon me not, nor forsake me, O God of my rescue.
Though my father and mother forsook me, Adonai would gather me in.
Teach me, O Lord, your way, and lead me on a level path because of my adversaries.
Do not subject me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses rose against me, breathers of violence.
Had I not the assurance that I would enjoy the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living,
Hope
Hope for the Lord. Let your heart be firm and bold, and hope for the Lord.
Lule hemanti lerot b'tuv Adonai be'eretz chaim. Kaveh el Adonai. Chazak b'yemei tzlibecha. V'kaveh el Adonai. I love that song.
Yes.
We continue to observe Shloshim for Victor Krupman. This week we observe the following yard sites: Joe Cohen, Billy and David Glick's uncle, David's mother's brother; Maxine Alkier, David Glick's mother-in-law, Karen's mother; Ferdinand Fichtelberger, relative of David Field; Hannah Fichtelberger, relative of David Field; Hedvig Heyman, relative of David Field; Moritz Heyman, relative of David Field; Ida Strauss, Harold's wife; Beth Penn's mother; Matt and Lee Colker's aunt; Anna D. Kaplan, wife of Harold, Mickey Radow's mother; Judy Woodruff's grandmother; Bertha Mann, relative of Elaine Skold; Ruth Mendel Shradsky, wife of Harold, mother of Bernice and Marjorie; Bella Weingartner, mother of Hedva Hess; Rachel Paderewski, relative of Valerie White; Sarah Kaplan Cohen, mother of David, Jimmy, and Saul; Edith and Sylvia; Shirley Friedman, wife of Harold; Cy Mazo, husband of Gloria, father of Rennie, Mark, Scott, and Bruce; David Field, son of Bill and Inga. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us always, and may they all rest in peace. Warner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hiruteh, v'amlik malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman karhi v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah v'borach v'lam l'omei maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitala shmei v'kudishah v'richu, le'ela min kol birchata b'shirata, tushbachata b'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. All right, friends, before we close out with Ein Keloheinu, a couple of quick announcements. Let's see. So, service is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Please join us. The more the merrier. That's 9 a.m. No adult learning for me this week, but we do have Sukkot. We have Sukkot day 1 and day 2, Monday and Tuesday right here at 10 a.m. So, hello.
Can you mention the brunch on Sunday? Do you know of the brunch on Sunday?
Are we having something on Sunday night?
The Federated is doing like a brunch for Camp Cave.
I thought it was next week.
Am I wrong about the week? Never mind. I'm off on the week. Continue, Rabbi.
I don't know.
I think you're right. 11th, 12th, we're in the wrong week. Go ahead.
So we're not doing anything for Erev Sukkot?
Nothing at Erev Sukkot. Sukkot morning, Monday and Tuesday at 10 a.m. Come and shake the lulav.
Yay!
If you can't come to services Monday and Tuesday, we're going to have a shake the lulav time and at Thursday from 4 to 5:30, and you're going to come to the backyard, and don't come to the side door that you normally come in, but go to the fence and the gate by the fence by the Y, because we're going to be in the sukkah as well outside. And so we're going to fulfill a whole bunch of mitzvot on Thursday. So come and join us if you can't come Monday or Tuesday. And if you can't come Monday or Tuesday, come and join us on Thursday, because you can always there's always mitzvot to fulfill on Sukkot. It's a great, great holiday. So we have that on Monday and Tuesday, and then Thursday, Yiddish choir.
Yes, we're back.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night,
Wednesday night.
live and on Zoom.
We're gonna revisit some new Yom Kippur songs and
Sukkot song.
Sukkot
Oh,
songs.
Sukkot song.
Well, I want to catch up a little bit, but also start.
Come get your Yiddish on. It's the best little choir. It's the best little Yiddish choir. Not as the best choir. from coast to coast, Yiddish choir with the most.
With the macadamia.
And you get the macadamias and the joyful almond. I mean, seriously, come on, get your Yiddish on, get your song on, see old friends, make new friends. It's all good. And then we're back Friday for Shabbat services, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, which I think is when the brunch is. And then we'll be ending Sukkot. And I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me. But check your emails. Martha will have sent the email out if it's there. And so that's that. Lots going on this week. Sukkot, my favorite festival because it takes place in the fall. You get to go outside. You get to eat. I mean, seriously, come on. And you get to revisit our pagan roots by taking, a palm frond and a big old lumpy lemon and making a ritual out of it. And we shake it. Shake your lulav.
Shake your lulav. Shake your lulav.
It's nomadic
Hut Appreciation.
Nomadic Hut Appreciation Week. Yes, because we have all these other appreciation weeks. We just finished God Appreciation Week, so it's all good. But that should go on all year. All right. Yashar Kochef again to Tam for that amazing drosh. Thank you. I'm going to be thinking about that one for a good long time. And to the macadamias and to the joyful almond for being here with us. So let's close out with Ein Keloheinu and then have a little kiddush. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adoneinu, Mich Emalkeinu, Mich Kamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shektiru, Avoteinu, Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asod et HaShabbat לדורותם בבית העולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם בבית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם בבית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם בבית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת. לעשות את השבת לדורותם בבית העולם. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו. ששת ימים תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך, ויום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תעשה כל מלאכה. אתה ובן ביתך, עבדך ואמתך בהמתך וגרך אשר בישעריך. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, Vayinach bayom hashvi'i. Al ken berach Adonai et yom hashabbat. Vayikad shehu. Savri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
That was a good week. A good week for the grape.
Yes.
Oh, we have some people who said, tuned in on this beautiful Shabbat morning. Let's see. Oh, it's Cliff Wanamaker. Shabbat Shalom from Rabbi's mom and Cliff. Well, thank you, Rabbi's mom and Cliff. Have a great week and stay healthy. Same to you, Melanie Samuels. Good Shabbos to all from lovely Brooklyn, the holy city of Brooklyn from Melanie. I hope all is well up there and that it is beautiful. It's a beautiful Shabbat morning, a fall morning for you up there, and hope all is well. All right, friends, lots going on in terms of services.
Yay.
We are here waiting for you. We'll make it feel like it was the high holidays all over again.
Except you can eat.
Except you can eat. Except you can eat, yes.
You can eat.
Hi, friends.
And
Hope
you
to
can
see you
celebrate.
soon. Come and see us. Please be careful out there.
With me.